Why, hello, hi. It is me, it is I, Small Town Didi, your Khadi on the internet, and I am back. We're back. Kastrach, you guys. So sorry. So you guys know I'm sorry. Like, I feel like you know by now. Rakhadi's sorry. Like, she's sorry she's been gone. I fell off basically, but I'm getting back on because, you know, a queen. I've just, life happened. I can't even get into why it is I've not been here. I have 2 episodes of The Real Housewives of Durban that I must tie up for us before the reunion airs because wow. First of all, the entire review is Georgia's fucking full of shit. I could just say that and then you all can go to bed. You all can just go on about your business because that's all I have to say. Georgia's full of shit and that's the review of episode what is that, 11 and 12. I think the reunion airs on the 10th. That's what, Wednesday or Thursday, I don't know, whenever, sometime this week. And I'm not gonna wrap up the other housewife shows. Like, I just fell too far behind. The Abuja girls were fucking snooze faced. I could not do that to myself. I deserve better. The Nairobi girls were giving it somewhat. I just fell off. Like, life happened, you guys. Like, I was self-employed and things happened. So let's just get into it, right? We start off with Slee. She's put together this trip that she had. Sarisha extended an invitation on her behalf. Well, they don't know that it's on her behalf. So she's a bit anxious about the trip and she's like, she doesn't know how it's going to go and she's hoping that it's going to bring the girls back together. JoJo's complaining. Why? I know it's because she's not like the best host there ever was. So why the fuck is she complaining? JoJo's complaining about something throughout this is not a good trip. Whoever put together this trip is just not, shut up. Okay, the groups ride separately, like the divide in the group. I don't know why they keep making them film like that, because I feel like that just like drives them further and further apart. Like, I noticed that Sarisha and Maria and Annie are in the one vehicle and then Nonko and crew are in the other one. Slee's riding with, I think she's riding with Sane and Bali. But odd, just, I mean, I suppose in real life, if we're trying to say this is somewhat a version of reality, you wouldn't ride in the car with the person you're not like on good terms with. So let's just go with that. But they're riding separately, they're chatting in the car, and then Sarisha then informs Maria and what's her name, Annie, that this is actually Slee's trip. And they're okay with it because, well, they're cool with Slee like that. Okay. Sarisha informs Annie and Maria. I'm gonna try to like boom go through it, which you guys know I suck at, so I don't know why I'm saying I'm gonna do that. Jojo out there. Oh, and then they get to talking about Jojo's deflection tactics, and they even make jokes about it because somebody wasn't at the fundraiser in the previous episode, Annie, I think. So they're informing her that when we tried to talk about what had happened on Jojo's trip, she quickly, like, you know, threw there, like, you know, Miss Grenade had to let us know that Calvin is going in for another surgery, and then it then became about the surgery. And it's like, and then Sarisha then says, oh, remember she did this as well in last season. You know, she brought up, and then Sarisha's like, even though we knew it wasn't about that. That's the thing about allowing somebody to get away with something the one time or whatever because you're on good terms with them. So when you see them be manipulative, you think it's never gonna like affect you. You're the exception to this rule, so you don't call them out on it. And in hindsight, you're like, I let that slide that one time and this is her deflection thing. This is her grenade. What do they're like, oh, she just like, she's hit, run and cry, right? Like, she should just throw it out there and cry and distract, and it's a whole spectacle. And I can't stand Jojo, okay? Right. Jojo and her enabler, she gets on the phone with Calvin and she informs him that, oh, we still don't know, they've arrived now. She's like, we still don't know who the host is, we had to see ourselves to our rooms. Shut up, girl. Guys, Calvin is an enabler of note. Calvin says to her over the phone, oh, so they still haven't gotten over it. First of all, what is it? Right? Because let's name the thing and then maybe we'll realize why it is they haven't gotten over it. The fuck do you mean? Your wife threw a tantrum and like fucked up a whole trip and invited people, had them leave their homes and their families. She had you driving in like the early hours of the morning so she could like flee the scene of the crime, and you're saying they haven't gotten over it. You're another one. You probably think you're an exception, or you put up with this behavior so she now thinks it's normal. It's not. It's disgusting. She's disgusting. You're equally disgusting for enabling the bullshit. Mariah or Maria, I put an H in her name. It's Maria. Maria links up with Ruan. I don't like Ruan. I find him to be a person of poor character. Okay. That's my take on him. I don't like a person who doesn't have a backbone. I don't like a person who doesn't stand for anything. Then you're just here or there, or you stand with somebody because it feels like a popular choice for you at the. I don't get Ruan. I don't understand why Maria is trying to hold on to this friendship with somebody who's so fickle, who's like twerking on the fucking fence. No, none of it. Having none of it. I find him, first he lies about Jojo having stomach ulcers, and then now he's telling Maria that we're cool, but in the confessionals he's like, I just feel closer to Joe. If you're really friends with people, then you don't take sides. I had a friend take sides, and to this day she maintains that she did not take sides. Bitch, you took a side and it wasn't mine. And I remember, because I wasn't trying to have you take sides. So it was so bizarre when you took a side and you're still maintaining that you remain neutral. No. You laid into me. Well, you fucking tried. You fucking tried. That was cute. Okay? That was fucking cute. Maria sits Ruan aside and tells him that, you know what, I don't want you in the middle. And then Ruan says, I feel like Maria's trying to pull me away from Nonko and whatever, and when I'm with them I just have a fun time. And I don't think Maria was trying to do that. Maria was just trying to establish that, are we cool? Anyway, Slee calls her girls and she lets them know she's arrived, and then they remind her that the trip is also like an attempt for her to make amends with friends, Nonko in particular, I assume they're referring to. Nonko calls Jojo to inform her that she's upgraded her room, and then the ladies go to Monkeyland. I didn't care for the scene. It was whatever. It was fun. It was fun to watch, but there's nothing to dissect in it. I think Nonko got pooed on by a monkey, which made sense. And then that's about it. At the end of the walk, Slee is standing with Maria and Sane and Bali, and then they get to asking Bali what's going on, what's been up with her, where's her ring. The style of questioning or style of conversing is very prying. It's very interrogating. It doesn't feel like it's a friend trying to get to figure out how's friend doing. And I understand why Mbali's cagey then, because Mbali's also not friends with Sane on the other end, and Sane has got the stench on her from how she entered the group, and you're then trying to initiate these somewhat intimate and private conversations with this woman standing here. What rubbish, Slee. Like, I feel like they were trying to ambush Mbali. Like, they're trying to get her story out of her instead of making her comfortable enough for her to share where she's at. That's just how I felt about that. Nonko tells Ruan to pick a side. Basically tells him that, you know, he needs to show where his loyalties lie. It's so high school, so fucking juvenile, the whole thing. I don't know why it's happening. Rubbish. Mbali says Slee. Oh yeah, Mbali says to Slee that, you know, sometimes Mbali's answers are, you know, one thing about me is that she doesn't owe them answers, and she could simply have said that instead of like her elaborate, like long drawn out stories. Or I'm an actress, and sometimes on set when you're filming, you're not using your you're not married or the character you play. I wouldn't do none of that. I'd just be like, girl, if I wanted you to know, you'd know where my ring is. Like, I'd make it awkward. I'd make it real orcs. But she didn't do that because she's not me. That's her main problem. She needs to be more like me. Annie's stops by Sarisha's room and they get to talking about their husbands, and they are basically applauding their husbands for doing basic things that we expect fathers and husbands to do. But the bar is in fucking hell. But these two are married to men who've done well respectively, one more than the other, but well nonetheless. And so I suppose the expectation of fatherhood and being a good husband wouldn't be the same as me and you dating Tabang. Tabang who ain't got shit going on. Tabang is not building Ocean Wall or trying to run a nightclub and be the mayor of Etegwini in the sense that Kholo is that title that they give him. They're not doing any of that. They're also just not showing up as good fathers. So I suppose we could make like excuses for Vivian because he's trying to build a mall in Dubai or whatever. But Tabang ain't doing shit. And Tabang is still not showing up as a great dad. But they're like, oh my God, he's trying. He picked up the kids as he fucking should. What rubbish. The ladies pull up to dinner. Slee pulls up looking cute. And then Barkamang Nonku also pulls up. She looks nice in like a blue suit. She looks cute and everything. They show up. They're at the table. You know the one thing I appreciate about Slee but could never be me? She's always trying to be a bigger person when Nonko is concerned and trying to approach things and come at things. I mean, she initiates this conversation here that Nonko, may I please ask you something? She doesn't wait for the other ladies to arrive for her to have an audience, right? She just starts the chat. It's just the two of them. She's like, you know what? Sane has informed me that Mbali shared with her that you've been talking nasty about me. You said that I am living beyond my means and that I have borrowed clothes as well as money from people that you know, or just borrowed monies and clothing from people and that I have not returned. Nonko denies it. Nonko denies it and then runs to God fights for me now. Oh. People who like Nonko and make excuses for Nonko, can you explain yourselves to me? You owe me an explanation as to how it is you can get behind this type of character. I'm forever just no. It's a no from me. No. She's so, whenever she starts shit, and then it starts to get too big for her to handle, she'll inject God in it. Rubbish. God fights for her now. Yeah, God fights for me now. Ren and Jojo arrive, and then after God fights for me, now she's an audience, Nonko. Go back and watch this. Now she wants to start having the chat. Now she's an audience. Right, she doesn't want to squash it no more. Now she's like, oh, now that you guys are here, apparently they're saying I say this. Jojo denies it on her behalf because they lie for each other, right? They have that going for each other. I mean, that's nice. I didn't believe Jojo would take up for Nonko to this degree, but I think she's had to like look around and see that, you know what, this is my only friend here. This is like, I might actually have to bat for this bitch. Like, I know she's lying because I believe Annie when Annie says that Jojo shared this with her as well when they were still click tight, you know. But she says no, I can promise you. And also considering the source, Sane is not to be trusted, which is true, except this was said. Ruan, yeah, Nonko is in the confessional and then she says that it's true, but it's something that she wouldn't say. I don't even know. Then everybody arrives, people trickle in at the dinner, and then Slee then announces that, you guys, this is actually my trip. And all the lady, and she's like, I told Sarisha to invite you all because I figured if I was the one who extended the invitation, you all may not have, like, some of you may not have honored the invite. So then Slee's then like, Anna guys, like, it's boring up here at this table. There's this tension, like, what's going on? Like, you know, and then Nonko's like, oh, do you want us to pretend, Slee, like we weren't talking all along? Why should we start chatting now? And I don't understand this animosity, this energy that Nonko has for Slee. You know what? Jojo and Nonko really miscalculated with Slee. They really, like, Nonko brought her in to make a spectacle of her the way she did of Mabusi, and it didn't go as planned, right? And she's now even accusing of stealing her shine, because she actually does think she's the star of the show, which is laughable. It really is. Nonko, first of all, first season, if you pay attention, she also looked broke. If we're going to talk about the quality of people's hair, her synthetic wigs, when she came on, she also looked like she was borrowing monies to be on the show. Just by the look of it. I'm not saying that's what she was doing, but she wasn't looking put together. So she's feeling she's cashed some of those Showmax monies for a couple of seasons, and maybe she's like feeling a little bit like, you know, less pressure on her finances, so she now wants to talk about this other woman whom she's brought onto the show. But the rich girls, the girls married with the dudes with the actual monies, the actual housewives, take a liking to girl, and they bring her into the fray, and her and Jojo can't stand it. They don't understand. They didn't make this calculation on account of they don't have the capacity to. These two are stupid. They really are. These two are less than smart, and I fucking mean it. Mbali then says to Nonko, Nonko, what did you mean when you said the Mabusi vibe thing? Nonko keeps insisting that, no, Mabusi, you and I had a chat about it, and we got over it. And I will keep saying that's not what happened. This was the second or whatever episode they were at Maria's house. Nonko waited for Mbali to excuse herself to go to the loo. And when Mbali did that, she then says to the ladies, so Jojo and Jojo and Maria, she's like, oh, when she was being introduced onto the show, I said to Jojo egging her on, say it, she gave you my Mabusi vibes. I've said this in other reviews. She was not there. She had this little Kiki with the other two bitches that were left there. This lady was gone. Now her recollection, because she's always fucking drunk on the show, or at least she appears to be, allegedly, right? So she probably, in her head, imagined Mbali was still sitting there. Because she insists, no, but I said it to you personally, and we hashed it out. And it's getting Mbali going, you know, it's like really riling her up, because she keeps saying, what the fuck are you talking about? We did not have a chat about this, and you keep insisting that we did. We didn't. And anyway, Nonko then tells Mbali, anyway, Mbali then gets mad, and she's like, like she threatens to get physical with her, to which Nonko says in her confessions, that's what I meant when I said Mabusi vibes. And there is now she's threatening to get physical with me and what have you. But I think Mbali was just frustrated, right? Anyway, Sarisha then turns to confronting Jojo at the dinner, and she's like, Jojo, were you saying anything malicious about us to Sine prior to whatever? And then she's like, no, I didn't even have her numbers prior to, I didn't have her numbers until a couple of days ago. And they'd seen the text already, so it's like, through your fucking teeth, you're lying, right? But anyway, they stick to it, and then Nonko and Jojo and them, Jojo starts crying. And they get her, she's crying about something. The weight didn't matter to me. Yeah, okay. Nonko and Annie and Ruan, they leave the table and they go sit aside, and they're all comforting each other, saying them bitches are fake and we're so real and blah 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 and blah. I've never not felt bad for anybody as much as I don't feel bad for Jojo. When she was on the phone with Calvin earlier on, she was like, her voice is fading out, so she would just use that as an excuse to not have chats, right? Great. In this scene, you guys, Annie's so heartbroken. She's breaking my heart the entire episode, because I relate to this. I had somebody in my life whom I thought was a friend, and we had a very interesting dynamic in that there was a bit of an age gap between us, so the friendship mimicked more a little sister and like older sister kind of dynamic. And so my being the baby sister in that dynamic, I dared to question something that they were doing at the time, and they did not take kind to it. And instead of us talking things through, I was discarded of and even made to question the level of a relationship we had. I will never forgive her. I don't think she cares for my forgiveness, but I will never forgive her. I don't walk around with the anger or animosity or whatever, but I definitely walk around with, bitch, I see you. I see you for exactly who you are, and you don't deserve me. Annie has this pain, just, she's so sad. She's so heartbroken, because friends will break your heart. So heartbroken throughout these 2 episodes. She decides to go and see Annie. She's like, you know what, my husband, we saw Holo advise her that, you know what, this is eating at you. It's bothering you. You may want to, for your own peace of mind, reach out to talk to Jojo so that you guys can put this to bed. And she takes her husband's advice in this instance, and she decides to go and see Jojo. She looks so pretty. This dress looks so cute on her. I love her in that Zara pink dress. She wore it, I think, in the 2nd episode as well, when Londi was coming to say goodbye. Love her. Love the look like that she's doing for this season. She goes to see, and he decides that she's going to chat with Jojo. She gets there and Jojo is already telling us bitch, whatever. And my notes have gone all over the place. Yeah, I'm not the most organized girl today. Annie goes to see Jojo. Jojo was in an abusive relationship that she informed us about last season, her first season. And she moves her tactics, she moves like an abuser. I don't know how else to phrase it, right? She's so manipulative. She will get you stuck on semantics. You will never discuss the actual cause of the fight. You will discuss the choice of words, right? You will find yourself saying, but those weren't my words. And now you're arguing about the words and not about the fact that you accused me of being malicious towards you and we were friends. And you flipped the table and you got aggressive with me, your friend. You will never discuss the actual issue, because she will have you chasing your tail, spinning, just fucking spinning the whole time, because she knows she's wrong. Because if you ever got past dealing with the semantics of it all and which exact wording and what was the phrasing, if you get that out of the way, then you're forced to then deal with what she's done wrong, and that then puts her in a position where she then needs to account, possibly also apologize for something, and she cannot do that. That is not in her make. She cannot do that. The level of gaslighting, I can see Annie stand there and question her own reality and how much this person is manipulating her, because she learned this when it was done to her. She's such a manipulator. I wonder what Calvin goes through. I'm actually concerned about Calvin. You know how Nonku was concerned about Annie because she looks like she's afraid of her husband? Calvin, blink twice. Blink. I'll come get you. Okay? Because what the fuck is this? She's so manipulative. Calls Annie, you're a troll. I never want to see you again. You're ugly. And I think she's referring to character. You're a liar. So she's just throwing anything that will stick at Annie to distract again. Because as she's throwing these things, Annie loses focus of the chats, right? And she's like, but when did I lie? Do you see the distraction? We're so far now from why Annie's there. We're now discussing, but why am I a liar? Because distract, deflect. That's her fucking move. And it's so abusive. It's so classic abusive behavior. This is what boyfriends do when they've done something bad to you, right? Instead of just taking accountability, they throw you out. And she's let us know that she feels, she even used the word that you guys outcasted me. And that's not what happened. I am so confused as to what she's experiencing, because twice she invited Annie to her home this season. Both times Annie has honored those invitations. The first time, Annie was ambushed with the likes of Nonko, whom Jojo knows that Annie doesn't care for Nonko, but she didn't storm out of her home. She went and chilled with them in the tub. Annie was so sure about the level of friendship she had with Jojo, she put what's her name, Slee, on the back foot based off the fact that her friend Jojo wasn't getting along with this woman. And she's like, remember, she was very iffy about giving Slee a chance. Why? Because of the strength of the relationship she had with Jojo and the fact that Slee had allegedly hurt Jojo. She had that much loyalty and allegiance to Jojo. So what is Jojo? Jojo wants like blind loyalty, no questioning, no accounting for anything. So the shit that Ruan and Nonko give her, and if it looks nothing like that, then she wants no parts. Guys, oh my God. Like, Annie cried. She called Sarisha after the whole back and forth, and then she throws her out. That's what they do, right? Very bordering on being a narcissist, right? I'm gonna throw you out before you throw me out because I'm so afraid of rejection. What in this chat, in this back and forth, really warrants her to say, oh, we can no longer be friends? And it's so bizarre to me because it's sounding like in Jojo's head, if I say we're no longer friends, that also means I don't need to apologize. Because I don't want to apologize, I'm gonna cut the friendship. You're still wrong, and she's still owed an apology. That's not how that works. You're fucking childish. Blink 3 times, Calvin. Blink 3 times. Okay. But that's it. Annie calls Sarisha. She's like, I invested in this friendship. I take a long time to let people in. She's so hurt. Guys, I remember calling my other mates and asking them how they saw my relationship with this person. Did I imagine having this quality of a relationship with this person? Because this person went to an extent of saying to me, oh, like, we were never really close like that. It's not like I came around you or like that. Like, I didn't even used to come by your house. Bitch, she was leaving my house as she was saying this. What? Yo, guys, that bitch put me through the fucking, I don't miss her ass. I don't miss you, bitch. Okay? Rubbish. Anyway, we're on to episode 12. How am I gonna get through, guys? Hopefully. Slee and Annie go for a walk and they go feed the elephants, but you can tell Annie's heavy, you know? She's heavy, and Thinga is clearly trying to cheer her up. They really are building a cute little friendship, these two. They seem to love the outdoors and adventurousy kind of things. They seem to find each other there a lot. They go out, excuse guys, they go to feed the elephants and they go for a walk and stuff, and they get to talking about what happened, and then Annie then tells her how hurt she is, what happened with Jojo and stuff, and how, you know, it just takes so long for her to open up and to let people in. So when she lets you in, it's quite a big deal for her, so it stings when things go awry. And then we have Maria, who takes Jojo out on the boat because she's like, there's nowhere to run, she's gonna have to sit through it. Little does she know, Jojo will run. Oh, Jojo also ran away from the conversation with Annie, right? She'll leave you there. How do you become a person? People who take up for Jojo, is there anybody that's seeing things from Jojo's side? Because I need you to explain this to me right before you book your therapy session. Maria takes Jojo out for a boat ride, and then Jojo, yeah, I talk about how Jojo just wants blind loyalty. Why is Jojo mad at Maria? Maria coddled her. Maria literally coddled the entire time. She flipped things on the table like, you know, a fucking lunatic, lost her cool, so aggressive, so violent. I've never seen anything like this. So fucking ghetto, right? Because that's what they say when it's us. Just so fucking ghetto. And then ran, and then who ran after her? Maria, and coddled her like a baby. And then when she was fleeing the scene of the crime in the morning, because, you know, Calvin had to drive through the woods in the wee hours, blink 4 times, Calvin. Had to drive through the woods, like in the wee hours of the morning, you know, because he's the getaway driver, because she has to leave before anybody can see her, like a fucking thief in the night. Who was down there in the morning to see her off and say this is not her fault? In fact, Maria works overtime to give Jojo, a grown-ass woman, a way out. Each time she blames Nonko. Oh, I think Nonko's just got such a bad influence on you, and Nonko's just such a negative influence on you and Nonko, and constantly trying to give Jojo a way out. But Jojo just does not like the fact that she's not moving exactly like Ruan, right? The twerking on, not even the twerking on the face, they're just saying, oh, everything is fine, Jojo, you're so right, and running after her. And she keeps talking about how she's the one who brought her into the group. Nonko makes the same point with Slee. I brought her into the group and she's come here now and she's trying to take my shine. They're late, she said this, but she's behaving this way. These two really thought they were hot shit, right? They thought they were hot shit, and they're finding that their behavior, their manners or lack thereof has just left them on the outskirts, and they can't believe that they aren't the nucleus of the group. Like as a pair, they can't compute. They can't compute much. So, you know, this is not surprising. But anyway, and Maria's like, I feel like she keeps saying that she brought me onto the show as if she's expecting me to be her puppet. Rubbish. Jojo then, Maria's disdain. Maria's like very strong dislike of Nonko is unfounded. Nonko's annoying, yes, for me, consuming her, you know, as a viewer, but as a person experiencing her, I can't imagine what experience Maria has had for her to say, and you can let her know that I think she's trash. I can't recall an incident that Maria had, on camera at least, with Nonko that has her experiencing this really... She's got such a dislike for her, you know? It's like she can't believe that Jojo's the problem. She so badly wants this to just be a Nonko thing. But anyway, Jojo doesn't like this, you know? And to a degree I understand here, because she is very close to Nonko, but it's also the degree. Like, tell her that she trash for having done what to you, Maria? Like, confused with the Maria and the disdain for Nonko. Really, I am. Jojo then also decides in that moment that she's ending her friendship with Maria, because Maria is not. She's like, yeah, I feel like you're always trying to be with Sarisha and them. This is unfounded. Maria is part of Team Enable Jojo. She just was not all the way enable Jojo, and Jojo needs you to be all the way with her bullshit. I can't do it. And then Jojo says to Maria, well, actually you and I, this friendship is also over, right? Because that's the thing, she is to dump you before you dump her. If you try to make her account for anything, she must get rid of you. I can't believe she's raising a person, but she is. And then she then says to kiss her ass or something, and then Maria says that that's not gonna happen, and then she says, oh, she's like, not with these lips, and then Jojo then says your lips need to get deflated and stuff. You know when you were friends with somebody and you were constantly telling them how gorgeous they are, when you can see that maybe they experiencing what is this called, a dysmorphia of sorts, or possibly, I'm not diagnosing Maria, but it's a hard thing to get over when you've been close to somebody, when in heat they make a comment about your appearance. I can't imagine Maria is gonna get over this. It's so low, but I expect that of Jojo. She's of low character. Sunday, Sarisha and Annie go sandboarding, cute little scene, and then afterwards Sarisha says, you know, when we're at Monkey Land, I kept hearing Ruan and Jojo and Nonko, whenever they'd walk past Maria and I, they'd just bring up the word botched for no reason, you know. Ruan, this is what I'm saying, he's a person of low character for me. Maria's done nothing to Ruan. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But anyway, this is what it looks like. He's an accessory. I've explained this before. He plays into that trope, which I find disgusting, of the gay accessory best friend, right? Like, he didn't figure out his own shit, and he gets to experience the socialite scene by like allowing himself to essentially be reduced to a handbag to the women who've married well. And then he gets to go to the trips and the events and end up on shows like this because he, in his own right as a person, hasn't made a man of himself. So then he'll go wherever the wind blows, right? He'll go wherever there's more social currency for whatever social climbing he's trying to do at the time. And really, zero character is required for this job. Disgusting. Anyway, Mbali goes to see Slee. Slee, again, with the interrogating. I don't like Slee's approach with Mbali. It's not with care. There's no sensitivity around it. There's you trying to get information out of this woman about her life, and I don't like it. I don't like it. It's insincere. I don't get it, and I don't like it. Jojo, Ruan, and Sia. Sia is the life coach person who clearly just wants to film and grow his brand, because I can tell when he's speaking to Nonko in other scenes, he makes a lot of sense. The shit he chose to participate in this scene, not on brand, Baba. Not on brand, okay, Baba, you lost me here, okay? This is where you lost Didi, at the scene. They're in the hot tub, all squashed in there, and then a package arrives, and then she opens it, and it says that it's from Slee. So she takes, this is not good, she takes the entire package and she just like throws it in the water. This is why I'm saying, what is her strong dislike? It's so unfounded to me. They've had their issues, yes, but she's done more to Slee, and each time Slee keeps trying to extend the olive branch. See, it's not enough branch for me in the world to do that for anybody who continues to treat me the way that Nonko has treated Slee from the time she got on the show. Deadass just throwing her under the bus from jump. Rubbish. Rubbish. But anyway, she dunks the whole thing in water, and she like punches like the bag and stuff, and everybody laughs about it, and nobody's like whatever. But it's their whole thing. It's how strongly she feels about it, and I guess it's whatever. Slee decides to host the ladies for a picnic, and she has Sarisha, Sane, Maria, and Annie at this thing, and we have Jojo doing a yoga session goes to Tonton's room, what's her name? Nonko's room, to do a little bit of yoga with her. And at the picnic, the ladies, it's everybody who's getting along, and Maria informs them what happened on the boat, the yachts with what's her name, with Jojo and stuff, and the botched thing, and everybody in the comments is talking about her, but she's had all that work done as well. Like, you're not the person to be talking about anybody being botched just because you think you got good work done. It may look like good work to you, but your lips may look too full to the next person as well. You know, I'm just saying. Anyway, and this friendship functions because you don't question anything. We see Jojo and Nonko in the room, and Jojo is just blindly supporting this relationship that Nonko has with this man, where they aren't pacing themselves, where this man has a questionable past. None of that. It's like, no, you're in love and you're gonna marry him and then he becomes your family. She's very much us against the world, you know, because she's got, blink 5 times, Calvin. She clearly has Calvin right where she wants him, right? So then she feels like she doesn't need anybody else. She feels like she can throw people away and discard of people because she knows that she's got Calvin wrapped around her little finger, and he'll do anything, and he will show up and just be a fucking puppet in her little show. Blink 6 times. But like, anyway, that's what they need from each other. They just agree with each other. There's no calling each other out for anything. The ladies meet up for one last dinner. Mbali apparently didn't show up for this picnic because she had not packed enough. Now, I don't know how it works. Do you not get a call sheet? Is it not like a show where you know how many scenes you're expected to show up in? But even so, you could pack like a couple of summer dresses extra for the trip in case like the zip goes off. Anyway, she didn't go to the trip, and Sane claims it's because she said she didn't have anything to wear. She was saving the fit for the dinner. I don't know. The ladies then meet up for one last dinner. They show them all in their fits coming down. People look cute. They look gorgeous. And as they're sitting at the table, what's her name? Slee then initiates the thing and says, okay, this is the last attempt. Is there anything we want to get off our chests, just to see, just to see if we can actually pass this thing? And then they start with, I think they started with Ruan, I don't know, but everybody's just talking about how they're heavy, they're tired from the bickering and what have you and stuff. And then Annie says that she's confused as to why she's dining with snakes, but she feels she's owed an apology, but she's made amends with herself, within herself, that she's at peace with the fact that she may not get it. She's not into toxic friendships and stuff, but I'm actually worried about Calvin. Yeah, worried about Calvin. Because this Jojo is sitting there talking about, same, I also don't like that. Girl, you're the toxin. You are the toxin, babe. I can't do this, Jojo, guys. She's so upsetting to me. I literally cannot believe we are in real life watching this shit. Watching a person try to manipulate, because it's not just Annie, it's the audience. It's like you're trying to gas us out of what we watched. There's no amount of bad editing that can like sell the narrative that we watched. You had to have given them this footage for it to have it be that they can even build a narrative if we're gonna run with that. Girl, you're danger. Calvin, just close your eyes. Don't blink no more. I'm coming, okay? Wow. But anyway, Slee then, oh no. You guys, that was so upsetting. So upsetting. Nonku then says, oh Annie, you just tend to blow things out of proportion. Hey, Nonku, Annie's the one who blew my babe. Your best bomba, tangalang, a whole table, because she says Annie said she's an alcoholic. When did Annie say that? But Annie is the one who's, guys, I'm load shedding. I thought I was gonna get it done within the hour, but I still have a little bit of light with my globes. So let's try to get this done. Okay. Anyway, she's like, I feel like you blow things out of proportion. The level of gaslighting, and both these women have both experienced abuse, and they're using the exact tactics that you can only assume were used on them to manipulate other people. And somebody else made this point, and I'm aware of this, that your growth has started because you're almost in survival mode, right? So you don't develop past a certain point. So you become like, you stay at the age that the abuse happened for a period if you don't do the work to unlearn and take on new things and so forth and so on. So your reasoning and how you deal with conflict is so hampered by that experience, the trauma of that experience, that if you don't do away with it and work through it, you will eventually become the perpetrator, which is what they are here. Anyway, says to Annie, you tend to, and then she's like, I don't even know why you're really upset. Like, I'm actually confused as to why you're upset. So then Slee chimes in and she's like, because you're trying to give Georgia's narrative, let me try to explain, having like gotten a bit closer to Annie and hearing her point of view, I feel this is what she's saying. And Nonko's hearing Slee say this, and then Maria adds to it. But because Nonko and Maria have this deep dislike for each other based off the fact that they're both friends with Jojo, that's the only thing I can deduce this. I don't know what else to say the dislike is, you know. And then Maria says, you know what, I feel like every time I want to say something, you want to say something. You're sticking up for Jojo now, and we feel the need to chime in and stick up for Annie, but you're taking great issue with that whenever I want to chime in. And in her confessional, Maria says, I feel like it's because I'm intelligent. Like, when I enter the chat, we're gonna have elevated conversations and she can't hang. Which is true. She can't hang. She can't keep up. You know, God fights for her. She injects God some way. Where does she inject God? And everybody rolls their eyes. Annie blows things out of proportion. Jojo keeps saying we're not going to be friends. So why can't we just move past it? Exactly what I said, right? Because we're not going to be friends, you can't hold me accountable for anything I've done, right? To avoid accountability, we're not friends anymore anyway. And I feel like that's what that bitch did with me, right? That's what the fuck happened there, right? She cut off the friendship, and I need to talk things through. I must talk things through to make sense of it, and not necessarily to get back cool, but to move on. I needed that chat. So my other friends had to come in and fill that space and constantly have to listen to me, work through my emotions, question my reality, ask them, but did this happen? And they had to go through this with me. It's to a point where they're saying it back to me that you were so gaslit in that phase. We couldn't say it to you. You were going through so much at that point. Like, you were questioning. This bitch had me questioning my character, right? Now I've got a mouth on me. That's clearly not like a secret, right? I'm also a person who loves dearly. Like, I love deeply. I'm very emotional. So when I love a person, I'm so quick to try and fix and make it right because I'm not interested in trying to hurt you. That's why I'm big on conversation. I'm big on being told where we went wrong so we avoid going down that path. When you take that avenue of conflict resolution from me, you send me for a spin. I don't know what to do. But anyway, Mbali then apologizes to Nonko. She's like, I'm not a violent person, and I'm sorry I threatened you with violence. And then they get up and they hug it out. And then she explains exactly what I told you guys in the review. That the reason saying you give me my Busi vibes has made her so angry is because of their treatment of my Busi. They treated her like used tissue. They really treated her so terribly, made her the butt of the joke, like so terribly. Nonko is truly a person of poor character. She really is. That Mabusi thing that she did, and then she brings in Slee to try and do the same thing to her. Explain yourselves as to why you take up for this woman. If you have a person in your life who takes up for Nonko, you distance yourself from that fucking in the grass. Okay? Okay? Don't say Rahadi didn't tell you. Then she explains that, and as they're talking, she's like, Mbali then brings up the Slee cried a few times. We see shots of her just wiping her tears away and trying to stay calm. And, you know, throughout the last 2 episodes, she's cried at each gathering. She's like, she's really hurt by Nonko. She really is really hurt by Nonko, you know? I think it's just realizing how little affection, if any, that this woman really had for you. I think it's really realizing that she brought me on to embarrass me. Our girls are growing up together and they're forming this bond, and I'm thinking Mgani, and you really brought me on national television to try and embarrass me for entertainment. When you think about that, and then she turns around and says, God fights for me. Oh, classic. Classic. They do this. Mbali then says, they're having the chat and she's like, you know, but you say this, but you know, you did say what you said about Slee borrowing clothes and not returning money. And they're talking about 3,000 rands. Now, 3,000 rands in a country like South Africa where we know what people earn is really a considerable amount of money. I just don't expect these women to be lending those kinds of sums of money. They seem like small money. It sounds like the amount that Didi like borrows, and you know, not them, but anyway. She says that, right? Now she wants to own it. That, no, but you did borrow things from a friend of mine. You borrowed shoes. You borrowed a car that you didn't take back for a week. This part, I think she said in the confessional. But even at the table, she said that you borrowed 3,000 rands from whoever. Now she's getting mad. Like her breathing pattern is off. She's getting mad. She's visibly angry now. Right? That cool, calm, and collected thing, it's not there. She is just seeing red, really, at this point. And then Mbali says that, you know, you guys looked at us. She's getting mad, and she's Nonko did say that you did borrow money and clothes that you didn't return. So Risha then says in a confessional, I'm quite disappointed Nonko would go here, because I know of the same kind of rumors about her, which I'll bring to the reunion. So messy as hell. So also told people to footack. She said thank you and footack. So is messy as well, guys. Sorry. So is messy, guys. So is a, and she's got this like thing that she does when she knows she's just been with the shits. This is my girl, guys. I'm sorry. She's a mess. She's a mess, guys. So she's like, yeah, but I also know that she's borrowed money from people and all these things that she's accusing Slee of, and it's amazing to me that it's the girls that's just made it out, right? Her wigs just got better. The girls that have just now made it out, that want to go with each other, and not the two, or even to a degree Jojo, who are coming at these other women for not having as much. Slee then flips her thing, her plate, and she gets up and she launches for Nonko, and security gets in. They made contact with their hands, but it got physical, we can say. And then the ladies get up and try to stop the whole thing, and that's pretty much our last scene of the season. And we're gonna see the ladies at the reunion. I had to get this out for us because we need to chat at the reunion. I don't know if they filmed yet. At the time of sitting, what's today? It's May. It's Sunday the 6th. I would imagine they filmed. I mean, they need to edit and stuff. So yeah, the 10th is when they say they are uploading the reunion episode, and I should have this up for you guys by tomorrow, Sunday. I'm hoping. But that's it, Chella. Bye, Ella.